Hi. I'm back. Let's go. Hello. It's been a while. Hi, everyone. First of all, thanks so much for all the support on the last video. I was very surprised that it got such a warm welcome, so thanks. And if you haven't seen it, I guess go and watch it. So this is my second knitting podcast. I'm Emily. I go by Hiya Mate on most things. And I am a knitter based in London, UK. Specifically Peckham, London, southeast London. Excuse me. So I got some good feedback in the last video, and I wasn't ill at the time, but for some reason I was constantly sniffing, which was really annoying for me and probably annoying for some of you. Did it again. This time I also technically not ill, but I did have COVID last week. So my voice is definitely a little bit weird. My hearing is really weird, and I'm probably going to sniff again throughout. I'm sorry. I'll try and edit it out as much as possible, or I'll try and stop myself before I do it. We'll see how it goes. Almost did it again. Okay. I might have to clear my throat a few times just because I'm still a little bit croaky. And if I do any big coughs, I'll edit those out. I can probably edit out the fact that I'm telling you that I'm going to edit things out. We'll see. Also, the brain fog is real after COVID, so I'll probably be a lot more pausey and forget what I'm saying throughout. Accidentally had my hair cut really short since the last video, and I'm still getting used to it, so if I look like I keep looking at myself, I am looking at myself because it's weird. But okay, let's get into it. Last time, it's been a while. It's been almost 5 weeks. I didn't mean to wait that long, but I got COVID, as I said. So I would have put up a video last week, but nobody wanted to see that. But I did get a lot of knitting done when I was ill. I think I was like seriously ill for like 2 full days, like really didn't want to eat, just laid on the sofa. Couldn't focus on anything. But then the rest of the time, I was able to knit. Annoyingly, I also had the week off work, and I had loads of nice, fun things planned, and I couldn't do any of them because I was so ill, which was really sad, but it's over now. I think I had this last time, the tiniest little coffee cup. I use this because when I'm on my own, I drink from a cafetiere, and stuff stays warmer in the cafetiere. So I just put a little bit in a little cup, and then by the time I finish that, it's getting a little bit cold, and then I can top up from the hot thing. Also, it's so cute. Top up. So I've done a few things. Last time I was working on cardigans for Wonderlang. I finished all 4 of those. They've all been sent off, so I can't show you them, but on their website is a pretty good idea of what they look like. And And I've got another one, another 2 of those to make this month, which I just cast on last night. And then I finished baby socks, if I can find them in this giant pile of stuff I heaved over. So I finished my little neon socks. Very, very cute. Adorable. Not sure who I'm going to give these to. So I think there was 6 babies last time I spoke. 2 of those babies are now in the world. But I don't think either of their parents would be into these. So I'm saving them. These... Oh, lost the pink one. Little grey ones. These are the pills. Oh, these were perfect newborn socks, I think. And I did the rib version in the pattern that you can do a rib, or you can do a little cable, like a really little cable twist. Not really a cable, it's just a twist stitch, but it looks like little cables. But I just did the ribs. And then these are the Pearl Soho baby socks. Don't know, I'll put the pattern up. First pair in grey. And I have finished this pair, but I can only see one in like a... Oh, I think it's over there. Sorry, I'm forgetting all of the things I meant to talk about. These are in Season Alpaca, which is a yarn from Pearl Soho, which I picked up when I was in New York in 2018. And those balls go such a long way. I made some like little mitteny, hand warmer, short little cuff things, fingerless. I made a pair of those. I made these, and I could easily make 2 more pairs of these from that one ball. And so, Season Alpaca, if you hold it one strand, it goes a really long way. And then this is the same yarn in a different colour. I don't know the colour names, I'll put them up on screen. And I only made these out of that. And I think maybe I made a sock, but I didn't like the sock, so I didn't make a second one. But again, I've got loads of this left as well, so it really does go a long way. The neon green, I'm not sure what it is. It's a sock yarn. I got it from a yarn shop, which is now closed down, which is really sad. But I'm sure there's not that much. I'm sure there's not that many neon green sock yarns out there, so it should be easy to find a dupe for this if you wanted to. And it feels just like a standard sock yarn, so probably a superwash and a bit of something stretchy in there. This is 100% alpaca, which means super soft and hopefully super warm. What else have I finished? I started and finished a gift knit for my mother for Christmas. Very lovely. I'm not sure what this yarn is. I have a feeling it might be also from Pearl Soho, but when I looked, I couldn't find anything that looked like it. But it feels like there's some wool in there, but it also feels like it's blended with some linen. It's definitely not linen quill because, again, I got this in 2018 and I'm pretty sure linen quill wasn't invented then. Sorry, my brain can't come up with the right words to say, but if it was, I don't think it's that, but it's a really nice yarn. It's got like a little bit of a shine to it. I don't know if you can tell. Oh, that's not focusing. It's got a little bit of a shine to it, and then it's got like a really good twist to it, and it's pretty squishy. And this is the something hat from Pulsar. I'll put the name up on screen. And it's a top-down hat, which I wanted to do because this ball of yarn that I had was just caked up, and I wasn't sure how much I had, or if it would be enough to even make a hat. And so I wanted to do a top-down so that I could go as long as I wanted to and not run out of yarn. But it turns out that was probably a full bowl of yarn, and I have loads left over. So it's really fascinating, actually. I think I did this in like an hour. But you just cast on. It's a free pattern. I'll link it below. Cast on, do this like quite interesting 3-pronged increasing. And the increasing is something I'd never done before. It's like a lifted increase, and I'm not sure if I like it that much. It's interesting, but not sure. And then it's just knitting the round all the way down, and then the cast off, I just did a really loose knitwise cast off, just like your standard. I'll put it on. I have a very small head. This is awful on me, especially now that I'm bald. But my mum has loads of hair, like a big mane of wavy red hair. So that, I think that's going to be really nice on her. And she's not trendy, so she doesn't really care about having like a cool hat. Just like a nice basic keep my head warm hat. So that's that. And then she also asked for some mittens. I always like to ask people what they want, even though it kind of ruins the surprise. But if they can give me like a basic idea of what they would love knitted and like a rough idea of colours, always really appreciate that, because I don't want to give someone something that they don't like. So my mum said, well, I actually asked my mum, would you be interested in some socks for Christmas? Because I really want to make some socks. I've got so much sock yarn I sorted out from my stash. And she was like, no, I don't want socks. So it's like, okay. What would you like? And she said, I'd love a hat and some mittens. The ones that I made her are probably like 10 years ago now. Have gotten a bit old. So she said that would be really nice to just have a refresh of those. So that's what this is. Actually, just looking at the decreases, like the increases just sat on my knee. It's quite nice. Simple but nice. So yeah, simple hat. And then, so I have some brown left over from that. Some brown yarn left over from that. And I'm going to make her a pair of mittens as well, which I've already casted on, and I'll talk about in a second. That's that. And then, this isn't really finished, but this is like what I've been working on passion project-wise all of this month. And at the end of my last video, I hinted at it. And at that point in time, I had ordered the yarn, made a plan for what I wanted to do. I'd ordered the yarn, and I was waiting for it to arrive. So since that last video, the yarn's arrived, I cast it on, and I've finished the front panel. It's made in pieces, very standard basic construction. It's a vest. And the reason it's special is because I came across an illustrator. I really love illustration. Big into illustration, and there's so many illustrators I love, but I came across this illustrator whose work was amazing and just really, really inspired me to want to make something of theirs in knit. So I got in touch with them just for myself. Just like a personal project. I just really wanted to see one piece particular knitted up on a garment. So I got in touch with that illustrator and just said, hi, I love your work. I think your style would work really, really well in knitwear. And I wondered if you'd mind if I took a piece of yours and tested that theory. And if I can buy a print or if I can give you some money in exchange for the use of your work, I'd love that. And they said, don't worry about money or paying for anything. I'd love to see how that would work. So show me how it goes, which was amazing. And then we spoke a little bit about the potential of, if it does work, should we do like a few limited edition things? I mean, this is very time intensive, but maybe a few limited edition pieces that we could sell if it worked. I think it worked. So I'll put a picture of the original illustration on the screen, and hopefully you'll see why it inspired me. It's just amazing. And so I took that illustration. I used Stitch Fiddle, which is like an online charting. Well, I think you can do lots of things on it, but charting tool primarily. And it has that kind of upload your picture and it'll make it into a chart tool, which I used, and it was pretty good. But then I like manually hand colored so that it was really, really good. And actually on Stitch Fiddle you can choose, you can set your gauge, which is really useful, but you can also pick from like quite a lot, but a limited selection of real life yarns. And with that, you can actually put your exact colours into your chart if you like to work like that. So I'll put a picture of the chart that I created from Anika's original drawing. And this is what I was working from. And I took a sweater that I already had, measured it, and made like a rough pattern. I knew I wanted to make a vest rather than a jumper, one because it's faster, and I didn't want to spend too much on yarn because I wanted it to be a really like special piece, so I wanted to use high quality yarn. So I wanted it to be a vest, so I made a very basic pattern for a vest and started working on it. I'll put a few progress photos on screen. It was a slog. I think I've probably put about 30 to 35 hours just into the front. The back and the rib will fly off the needles really fast, but this was a lot of work. But here's how it's looking. Sorry, I'm teasing you. So it's going to be hard to see. Maybe I'll put like a flat in as well next to this, but this is what it looks like at the moment. So I still need to, it's so good, right? I still need to do little duplicate stitches for like the eyes and the beaks of the birds. And I want to clean up the sky especially, I think, because there was lots of like little areas I need to clean up, just go through and like tighten up some stitches and clean up the top especially. But so happy with how that's turned out. Really, really fun. And yeah, it's just like a basic vest pattern, quite not super cropped, I'd say. Like it comes just below my belly button, I guess, which is what I intended. And then I'll do, I think I'll probably do a folded rib neck and just a basic like inch rib on the armholes. And then the back, I'm going to keep this like mid green here. I'm going to do that mid green all the way up to like so many ends to where this finishes, and then I'll do blue on the top, like quarter, whatever that is. And then the ribs around the arms and the neck are going to be blue. So that is the most fun thing I've been working on. And I have done all of that in Jamieson's of Shetland, DK weight. And I got this orange for the little sun, but I ended up using a different yarn because this was a bit too orange. And there's this really like nice reddy, it's this color that I use and everything. But Anika also uses it a lot in her illustrations. So I found a yarn that was better suited to that, and I've used that instead there. I used 6 colors of that, so I'll just list them here because I don't have, none of them are in the ball bands. And these come in 25 gram balls, which was perfect because I could then, like, for the white I only needed 1 ball. For the blue I knew I wanted more because I wanted to do the ribs and the neck in that, and then the 3 greens I could kind of quite nicely stagger the amounts that I bought based on how much I thought they would use. And I think I ordered like perfectly because I do have some left of every color, but for the most part I used like pretty much what I expected for each, which was really good. And it's a really lovely yarn. It's 100% wool, I think, 100% pure Shetland wool, grown and spun on the Shetland Isles. So really lovely. And it's 75 meters per 25 grams. So I think it is actually quite a light DK. When I was working with it, I did a swatch on the recommended needles, which is 3.75. And it was too gappy, too floppy. So I went down to 3.5 and that seemed to work much better. And that's what the front of the vest is done on. For the back, I'll use the same needle and just see how it goes. I think it'll be fine because it's not stranded color work, it's all intarsia. So the back looks like this. So that's going to be fun. I'm probably not going to weave it on my ends. I'm going to, or maybe I will over the next year. But I'm going to, when you do intarsia, sometimes it's worth just going back to where you started a new color and just tightening that stitch and weaving in the end to kind of keep it snug. Because really, like, every single piece of color on this is like its own separate block. It's not knitted into any of the others like you would in like a stranded color work. So it helps to kind of like reinforce that a bit. I don't know if what I just said is actually true, but it seems right in my mind. So now I guess we're in works in progress. I technically count that as a finished object because it's the front of a really nice sweater and it took me a really long time and I finished it, so please let me have it. this time next month, that will be a properly finished object. But let's use that as a segue into whips. Last month I was working on this, and I have done a fair bit, even though it doesn't really seem like it, which is the front. So I've done a fair amount on this. I've reached the bottom of the raglan and joined to work the body. Absolutely adore how this is looking. I also, I think in the last episode, said that I had just figured out how I normally do colour work. I hadn't done it in so long, stranded colour work, and I just figured it out. And at that point, you can really see where I like figured it out. All of this is like, I had no idea what I was doing. And then as soon as this bit hits, that from there on is the good stuff. So I don't really mind. Like, it's because it's got lots of negative ease. Oh, my cat is going to jump. Is he going to jump? He's thinking about it. It's tall. Oh, you can do it. You can do it. You're cute. It's the fun is resting on a step stool, and he wants to get up onto the top of the step stool, but it's really tall. It's like floor, table, step stool. And he keeps trying to jump, but it's too tall for him. Oh, he's on the table. He's up. He's up. So yeah, really, really happy with how this is. The negative ease, that's what I was saying. I think is gonna kind of even out the wobbliness at the beginning. And I have tried it on and it fits marvelously. So I'm really, really happy with that. And I'm gonna go, so the original pattern is quite cropped, like very cropped. But I'm gonna make it like belly button length, maybe a little bit longer. And then the sleeves in the pattern are only maybe like an inch longer than this, but I'm gonna do it full length sleeve, maybe to like a bit longer, like here-ish with a cuff. So yeah, really looking forward to that. I'm hoping I finish it not too far into the new year so that I can wear it. It's going to be warm. And I'm making that, I said last time, but I'm making that in a mix of, this is West Yorkshire Spinners signature 4-ply, which is a light fingering. This, which was a mystery stash yarn, which is almost exactly the same weight. And then the Retrosaria Mondum, which is a little bit heavier than both of those, but adds like a really nice squishiness to it. So that's that. Oh, now my cat's going to jump down. Fine. What else am I working on? This, a baby jumper. This is for a baby that's one of the babies that I mentioned that has already been birthed, and I'm really late on delivering the goods. But thankfully this is much bigger than I intended it to be, so it's going to fit for a while. It's so cute. I love it. So this is the, I can't remember what it's called. It's a petite knit pattern, and it's meant to be in the pattern. It has stripes. I'll put a thing up. In the pattern it has stripes, but I didn't want to do that. And I changed quite a few things on it. So I had this yarn, which is just an acrylic, I think it's Patterns. I'll find out. I've got the ball band on a different colour somewhere, so I'll find out and put it on here. 100% acrylic, but a really nice colour. And I think baby clothes, for acrylic for baby clothes, especially when they're tiny, I don't really mind. And I already had it in my stash because I made a dog jumper, which needed to be really hard wearing and washable. So, I don't know what I was saying. It's really hard for my brain to think of words right now. So I wanted to use that yarn and I knew that. So I picked this pattern, which is for a fingering weight, I think. Maybe fingering held with Mohair. Petite Knit does that all the time. But for a yarn much, much thinner than this, because I think this is like an Aran weight. Oh, my cat fell into my plant. He's exploring. You can get up there, Tune. 1 second. What was I saying? I just had to help my cat get up onto the bookshelf so he can watch birds. Sorry, this is a bit all over the place. Next month will be much more eloquent, I'm sure. So anyway, I did this in an Aran weight instead of the suggested fingering / DK. So I cast on the newborn size. It's worked top down with these really nice little raglan increases. I cast on the newborn size and then worked the pattern as it stated. And then once I got to the underarms, I measured the width and compared that to the finished garment measurements, noted which size it was coming up at, which I think was actually now like a 9-month-ish. And then instead of working the length for the newborn, because I knew that would then be really short and weird, I worked the length that proportionally fit the 9-month-ish size. And I haven't cast off yet because I'm going to do the thingy bind off. Italian, whatever, the fancy bind off that makes it nice and stretchy and neat. I'm going to do that, but I don't want to cast off yet until I finish the sleeves because I don't have that much of this left. I only had 2 balls and I'm into the second ball. Yeah, so I did all of this up to here with 1 ball, did this much, started the sleeve. So I'm gonna finish this. I think I'll get the sleeves out. I'm not gonna do much longer than, well, I am gonna do longer than this, but not by a huge amount, maybe like to here. Maybe I'll just do it by look, see what looks good. And then the same on this, and then if I have anything left, I might extend the bottom a little bit, but not much. And this is just all over broken rib stitch, which I think in this chunky yarn looks a lot like a fisherman's rib or something much fancier than it actually is, which I really like. Whereas on the original pattern, because it's in a much finer yarn and it's like a stripe detail, it looks very different, the fabric, but I love this. I think it's so cute and I love the shaping. The neck, I don't know if it's just the yarn I used or what, but it looks so nice and it's so stretchy. Like I might be able to get oh my god, I can get my head on that. So I could put this on. I won't, but it's super stretchy. So I love that. And I did the fold it over and then knit to attach to the body, which I think really helps it be super, super stretchy. Now my hair's all funny. Who cares? So yeah, working on that, hoping to have that finished soon because this baby is growing quickly. And I want it to be as useful as possible for as long as possible. And I think I'm going to send this along with these little grey socks, and maybe, if I don't think I have enough of this to make a little hat, but I might make a little green hat or something just to go with this as like a nice little colour story. This is brown. It comes up quite pinkish in some lights, but I think it's neutral enough to be fine for masculineness in a newborn baby, which is weird. But yeah, just in case. So that's one thing I'm working on. And then, so to go with my mum's hat, I am making some mittens as requested. And I'm using the leftover brown yarn that I was using for the hat, and I'm not going to have enough for the whole mitten. So I'm already, like, this is all I've got left to do these two. We'll see how far we get, but the plan is to do these for as much as possible. I'll get the thumb completely done in brown, and then use this like creamy colour for the top, because I think that'll be a nice little detail. And again, very, very basic. It's the same. So the pattern for this hat also has mittens, like a 3 mitten option for gloves, where you can do like hand warmers, fingerless mittens, or hand warmers, gloves, and then mittens. And I'm doing the mittens because that's what Mum asked for. So I think that'll be really nice, and I'm working them 2 at a time because otherwise I won't do 2. I'll do 1 and then decide I'm never going to touch them ever again. Working them 2 at a time, and at the moment there's loads of needles because I started on the thumb, because I want to definitely, from a design standpoint, I want to get the thumbs in brown before I run out, because I think having like a little tip of your thumb in a different colour would be weird. So yeah, that's that. And again, sorry, I don't know what this yarn is, but it's beautiful. Take my word for it. I don't think this is going to focus on it, but the yarn is so lovely. It's got like, it's brown, but it's got pinks and beiges and greens and all sorts of colours in it. I don't know if you can tell. And it, like I said before, there's like a really nice shimmer to it. That's why I think it's got linen or bamboo or something in it. It's not acrylic, because I wouldn't have bought, it was in a hank, and I wouldn't have bought a hank that had acrylic in it. I don't know why, I just wouldn't have. And then the twist to the yarn, like I said before, it's like a very deliberate twist. Just can't focus on that, but I shouldn't have this in the background. I feel like it's asking to not focus, but a very deliberate twist which gives like a really like nice texture to the stitches. And it's really warm. And this is now a big fat mess, which I'll sort out in a second. It's got those, and then I'm topping them with this, which is, I actually know what this yarn is. It's the Wool and the Gang recycled cashmere, which I don't think feels very soft. I feel like maybe if you block it, it gets softer, but it feels like quite cottony to me. And I don't know if that's typical of cashmere because I never use cashmere, but we'll see how it goes. I thought that would be really nice if it does soften up. I thought that would be really nice for the fingertips of the mittens, nice and soft. Plus, like, it's coming up quite grey on the camera, but it is like a very nice warm off-white creamy colour, which goes nice with that brown. So that's that. And then I think that's all that I'm actively working on. I'm planning a second vest with the same illustrator, another piece of theirs. I'll put a picture of what piece I'm gonna do next. So I've made the chart for that. It's a slightly different pattern to this one. I wanted to try something a little bit different, and it's a different yarn. And I've swatched for that already. I ripped the swatch out because I don't have a lot of yarn. So I swatched, made notes, and I'm going to start working on it. My cat's sniffing my books. He's going to eat them. But I'm really excited about this because ordered this yarn at the same time as the Jamesons for that vest. The one that I've done, very, very rustic feeling, but amazing. Super sheepy. Really, really lovely. But it feels like a sheep, which I love. Very excited about that. But I also wanted to do one that felt very luxury. I mean, this to me is luxury because I just love that. But the next one I am going to do in 100% alpaca. And I got Filcolana Indicita. I have no idea how to say that, but it's not called this anymore. It's called something else. I'll put the name up. But everywhere where I went to buy it was like, this is now called this, but it's obviously just getting rid of old stock before the new name comes in. At least I think that's it. Or is this the new name and it was called something else? I don't know. Anyway, I got a series of colours that I thought would work for this new vest. The blue for the sky, which I think is going to be amazing. This really, really lovely natural white colour for the clouds. A black for the mountain, for the volcano. This green for like the little tops of the tomatoes, sorry. And then I got this orange for the tomatoes, thinking that it would be a bit redder, and it's not. So I'm not going to use this. I'm going to use this, which unfortunately is much more. Actually, it's the red I used in the sun of that vest, but it's the perfect color. So I'm going to use this instead and just sacrifice the softness because this is. I don't know what yarn this is. I got it in a. I do know what yarn it is. It's got a label. I'll go and get it in a second. It's vintage yarn from eBay that I just bought in a bulk lot. It's sheepy feeling. It feels almost exactly the same as the Jamesons, which is really interesting. It's not that, but maybe it was a similar supplier back in the day. I'll grab that label in a second because it's fun to look at. But I'm going to use this for the tomatoes because it's just such a perfect colour and I don't want to have to buy another yarn when I've got this one in stash. Plus this is just a sampler. It's just to see if it works. But for the most part, it's going to be nice and soft and squishy. This is absolutely beautiful yarn. It's pricey, but so lovely. And I'm going to hold this double. I did a swatch with the black and the orange. I'm going to hold this double, and it works perfectly on 3.5 mil needles. So that's what I'm going to cast on next, along with the rest of that other vest that I'm making. Let me get that ball band because it's fun. And then I've got a few little acquisitions, but not much, so we'll talk about that as well. Hi. Yeah, so this is the yarn. Like I said, I got it on eBay. I can't remember if I mentioned or if I cut it out of the last video because I went on a bit of a tangent, but I was collecting old yarn labels for a long time. And by proxy, is that the right term? What do you say? Like when you're trying to do one thing, but then alongside that, naturally ended up with loads of really nice vintage wool. So this is Argyle Sports Day double knitting wool in the colour geranium. Lovely. And it's 100% pure wool. And it is from Argyle Wools Limited in Bradford, which is, for anyone who doesn't live in the UK or isn't aware of UK geography, Bradford is near Leeds, which is like in the north of England. So that's really fun. And then the small amount of additional information on there says net weight when packed is 1 ounce, 28.35 grams, in accordance with BS 984, which I don't know. And the lot number is 3926, and it's dye number 1. But how fun is that yarn label? When this came, it's falling off now, but when it came, it had like a little piece of sellotape. I think you can see there. And the sellotape, you know when sellotape gets really old, it just like turns into, like the glue turns into powder and it just like comes off completely. So that's happened there. But this is the yarn label. It's so nice. Why don't yarn labels look like this anymore? I just love that. So that's what this is, and that's what I'll be using for the tomatoes. And I have quite a lot of this. They're only 25 gram balls, but I probably got like 10 or 11 of these, which is obviously way more than I need. I probably only use 1, maybe 2 tops for the vest. My cat's trying to get back up again. Oh, you can do it. I believe in you. Go. He can't. He can't do. So yep, that is what I'm going to cast on soon. I'll show you this. Just one of the cardigans again for Wonderland, but I cast on last night and I just did a tiny bit of the ribbing and was exhausted. Get really tired after having COVID. Oh, there he goes. He's up. Well done. So acquisitions. Yay. I went to Paris. How fancy. This year, so I started a new job this year. I think I mentioned that last time, but I started in March and I'm working as a graphic designer for a creative agency. Absolutely love it. And that's the first time I can say that about a job in a long time. But we got an email like mid-November saying, oh, instead of doing an office Christmas party this year, we're gonna take everyone to Paris. So, yay! It was so much fun. It was just a day. We're in London, so you can get a train to Paris, like a 2.5-hour train to Paris. So we went super early in the morning and came back the same day, but it was still amazing. And while I was in Paris, did a very quick Google of like fun Paris yarn shops, and we were like in the oh, my cat just made noises if he was going to throw up. He's fine. We came into Gare du Nord and stayed in that like general region. So I like found, oh, he's getting, stop. I'm going to show it because it's cute. Look. Hi, Tony. Hi, Tony. What are you getting? Isn't he cute? He's bored and he wants me to play with him. In a second. I went to a yarn shop called Lil Weasel. Lil Weasel. So cute. Lots of people might have heard of that already, but I'd never heard of it, and I thought it was amazing. And I was like, even if I didn't like yarn, I would still go to this place because it's called Lil Weasel. Best name ever. So we did lunch with everyone in the office, and then from the office, and then we did a bit of a walk, and then like people who wanted to kind of like splintered off. Some people went and looked at records, some people went shopping, and then I on my own, because nobody was interested, went to Lil Weasel. And I bought 2 things, and I'll show you. I took a picture of them, a little video actually of them in their hanks because they looked really nice. But I've caked them up because I want to use them soon. And my other one is over there. One sec. So I got 2 things. Work also gave us €50 spending money. So I just bought yarn with it, obviously. And it did not go far. I bought 2 hanks. One is this, which looks so boring from afar, but it's magnificent. And I'm doing the thing, because I always lose my yarn labels, as you've seen from everything I've shown you ever. But I'm doing the little thing that Inga from Knitting Traditions does. Cake up your yarn and then put the little label in the thing, which seems obvious, but I've never done that before. So this was purchase number 1. It is, I don't know how to say this, teach me. Le bien-aimé. Le bien-aimé. Something. Hand dyed in Paris. And it's the Corrie worsted weight. Oh my god, cat's freaking out there. I'm sorry if you can hear him. Corrie worsted weight. Oh, he's coming. Hi. Okay. In I think the color Avion. Clearly did not speak French when I was in Paris. And this is 75% Falkland Corriedale and 25% Gotland wool. And it is so lovely. I'm so happy I got this. I don't know if the colours are going to show up very well, but it's like it's a grey, yes, but it's got like a slight greeny yellowiness to it, which I love. I'm actually not sure if this is dyed at all. It feels very natural. And then it has, this just isn't showing up at all, is it? Like a good amount of furriness to it. With, I think you can probably see like little black furry hairs, black and grey furry hairs coming off it, which I just absolutely love, and surprisingly soft. The plan for this is to make a hood. I'm going skiing in January and I feel like I need a hood, especially now that I'm accidentally bald. So I did look at some patterns for like balaclavas that I could maybe adapt. I want it to be openable. So like press studs or buttons to close it. And then like a hood. And I looked at some patterns and I wasn't really that into any of them. I have already bought and made the petite knit balaclava. I can't remember what that's called. November balaclava? Something. I'll put it up on screen. I have made that, but I want it to be longer. I want it to be opened at the front, and I want the face opening to be different as well. And I found a picture of a ready-to-wear that I love. Put a picture here. So I'm going to try and recreate that and hope that this is enough yarn to do that. If it's not, then it's fine. And maybe I'll do a bit of maths to try and figure out if it's going to be okay. But that's the plan for this. And if that doesn't work, I'll make a hat or something that will still keep my head warm. And then this is the second skein that I bought, which you might recognize from all of the other things that I've ever shown you. This blanket, this top, this guy. It's much brighter, but I got this to make some socks. So this was one hank, and I caked it up into two 50-gram blobs, and this is Lil Weasel Rainbow. So I guess this is Lil Weasel Original, and it's in the colorway Halloween, and it's their Lil Sock base, which is 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon, and it's 100 grams, 425 meters. So it's a fingering, light fingering, which will be excellent for some socks. And I'm going to make, I'm going to try and make these socks. I've already forgotten what they're called, and I've forgotten the designer, so yay. I'll put all of this information here, but I really love them. I really love them in the blue that the sample is made in. But I thought red could be really nice as well. So that's on my to-do as well. And since last time, I bought all of the yarn, technically acquisitions, for the vest. All of this for Klana for the second vest. And then I bought, here is the second pink sock, I just found it. Look, proof. I made a full pair. I put off the second pairs of these for so long, and I just bit the bullet and did it. I was working them two at a time, but I was working one of each pair in each of the two at a times because I didn't want to split the yarn balls. I finally bit the bullet and just cast on the second pair, and I literally finished it within like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours tops, whilst doing other stuff as well. So I absolutely did not need to procrastinate so long on those. But they're done, and I'm going to make lots more because, as I said, there's lots of babies in my life at the moment. None of them mine. And then I treated myself. Not that all of this isn't already a treat for myself, but I had for a long time been using my Knit Pro needle case. I think probably everybody who's bought a set of interchangeable needles has it. It's like that, the clear plastic with like the black binding, black zip. Very, very good practical piece, but doesn't look that nice, you know? And I've been using it for probably like 10 years-ish. And the zip had broken, the plastic had started to come away from the binding. It still worked fine, but it was getting like a bit annoying to use. So I treated myself and I bought the Mood needle wrap, which I'm so glad I did because it's so beautiful. It's a little bit too orange for my liking, but I'm hoping that that will lessen over time. And also I accidentally, well, I say my cat accidentally knocked water all over it within like a day of me opening it. And I was very sad at the time, but you see, I think you can probably see that, but like here is where the water got on it. And I actually way prefer that colour to the rest of it. You can't really see because the light is glary, but can you see how it's a bit more of a like a natural tan colour rather than like this? So I was kind of waiting to see how that dried when it happened. Oh, maybe you can see it here a bit better. 1 second. Can you see this here and here? So I was thinking, if I want to be crazy, I might just submerge the whole thing in like a little bit of water quickly, just to get rid of that like top oranginess, and just pray that it doesn't destroy the whole thing. Can anybody who is like knowledgeable about very soft, supple leather tell me if that is going to like make it disintegrate or something? Because this wasn't cheap. And oh, I didn't realize there were pockets there too. Oh, I'm going to put that in there. So this is what it looks like. You might have seen it before. I was heavily influenced by Rebecca from Crayabea, but it's got lots of spaces for lots of things. I need more spaces, but it's fine. But I did just realize that there's pockets behind these pockets, so I didn't know that to begin with. I don't know if they're meant to be pockets, but they are. I'm going to put those in there because these fall out every time I open it, which is annoying. One thing I do wish about this, so I moved everything over and I've been using it for about 3 weeks now, and it does the job. Haven't gone anywhere with it, haven't travelled with it. But what I wish was, so you've got these on here, and you've got bigger pockets on this side, split into 3. And then, I'm going to try and do this without everything falling out, but then there's a zip in the middle here, and you can open that up, and the whole thing opens up, and it becomes like a giant bag, basically. I don't know what the purpose of that is. I'm sure there's something important. Maybe I need to research a little bit. But I wish there were zips on these smaller pockets, or some kind of closure. And, like, as it is, it's designed to fold in half, like that, and then fold into 3. Like this. And then there's There's 2 poppers, which is useful because you can adjust whether it's really full or not as full. But this is like a pretty hefty, like size of my head, pretty hefty thing to carry around. I wish there was an option to just fold it once in half, because then this, to me, is a little bit more manageable. And all that would need is just a popper on this side, which maybe I'll just add it myself, that's fine. But I think that is then like much more similar to the size of my previous case, which I carried everywhere with me. It's not a big difference, but that's just like something I've noticed in the past few weeks of using it. So, and maybe it's just because I'm so used to that old one that it's taken a while for me to like accept that this is my new normal. But yeah, just a couple of things that I observed. But the quality is beautiful. I'm really happy with it. It feels like a really special piece. So yeah, happy with that. So that was another acquisition, I guess. And look, it is cute. It looks like a little wallet, but it's just very chunky. And it has like softened up a lot since I've been using it. So those are my acquisitions. I've asked for some yarn for Christmas from my boyfriend, from my partner. Because I really would like to make this. I forgot what it's called, but I was watching Heather and Hop's cat, and she was wearing a version that she'd made in like I think it was like a very pale grey, like a heathery pale grey, and I loved it. So I've asked for a quantity of Bruska, something from Retrosaria. Is it called Retrosaria? I'll put a picture of it here. Sorry, I'm really bad at names. So I've asked for a sweater's quantity of that so that I can make this. And that I will probably, depending on when we open presents, I'll cast that on ASAP and start working on that. So there's a few things on my list. I've changed my Ravelry name to Hiya Mate so that it matches all my other things. So if you wanted to, I'll link it below, and I've started using the queue feature, which I didn't even know was a thing. But I've started using that, and that has my like some of the things I've mentioned here, plus some other bits that I would like to make in the future. But I'm realistically not going to buy any yarn. I'm going to try and work through my stash as much as possible next year. I might even impose a yarn band. I've just seen another thing that I bought since last time. I'll show you because it's fun. I'm back with many goods. So the thing that I saw that reminded me that I'd also acquired other things. I bought this, which is woolly knit cotton. I got the 100% pure new wool, and it's the incredibly light fingering weight. This is 500 grams cotton in the color Kilda, I believe. So I got this. Don't know why. I just liked it, and I felt like I wanted to join in the cone. Love Rebecca from Creya Bear and Inga from Knitting Traditions and lots of other people really influenced me to buy a cone. But I feel like it has lots of potential. I can make lots of different things, and it's a really nice yarn. I love like the marliness of the color. It's like it's a blue just like a mid blue, like a little bit darker than sky blue, right? But this is what I bought at this length. Please reassure me that I'm not crazy. So I already have this, which is, I got this while I was working at Wool and the Gang, and it was a sample yarn that we had to test. And it was from our supplier in, oh, there's been some moths eating this. Okay, I need to go back through my stash because I see little moth eggs on this and the yarn is splitting. That's scary. This is from Inca Tops, which is a supplier in Peru. 100% wool, and it was probably a kilogram cone when I got it. I've used it for a few different things. This is, I don't know, 8 years old, maybe not 8, maybe 5, 6 years old. Had it for ages, and I'd started the Emerson sweater pullover from Vivian Xiao Chen, I think is how you say her name, which is beautiful. I love. My cat has been needing it a lot, so it's probably a little bit pulled, but half fisherman's rib or muck fisherman's rib, whatever you want to call that. I don't know if there's a difference. And that's been really nice. I stopped because I don't know if I have enough yarn left on this cone. Can you see? To actually finish this, because it has a lot of positivities. It's in fisherman's rib, or half anyway. And I know that uses a lot of yarn, and I'm in denial basically. Well, not even denial, because I don't actually know if I have enough yarn. Like, I just don't know. And we'll probably be able to figure that out. Maybe I'll like do a, I don't know, maybe I'll do like a little swatch and see how much yarn it uses, and then try and do some maths to figure out if I can finish this. I would like to, because I love this colour, even though I don't wear blue very often. I'm wearing blue right now, but I don't wear blue often, but I love this. The yarn is absolutely magnificent. It's 100% wool, but it's so soft that I feel like it must be a very special sheep. If anyone can tell me what sheep Inca Tops use, or used to use, I don't know. It's really lovely. And it's really squishy. The stitch is beautiful with it. I'd love to finish that. I just need to make sure I'm not wasting like thousands of hours doing that. And then I run out of yarn. And it's I would say like a heavy fingering light DK. Does that make it sport weight? I don't know. The NM is 4/8. If that means anything to anyone. And then, so I already have a blue cone of yarn that I'm halfway through a project with, and then I bought this for no reason, and it's too thin to actually use as is, so I feel like I need to either buy Mohair, which I don't like doing. So I bought this, and I have this, and this I can just use straight from the cone. It's thick enough that I'm using it as is for that sweater. This I would have to hold with something or get another cone to double it up, because if I doubled it up, it might even still be too light to like use straight from the cone. And with one cone, I don't have enough to even make a sweater anyway. So we'll see what that is used for. But as soon as I bought this and I saw my old cone, I was just like, oh, I shouldn't have wasted £22 on that. Anyway, and then also, this is absolutely filthy because it's been rolling around on the floor for the past 6 years, but also from Wool and the Gang sampling. And I do not take for granted how lucky I am to even get this. Like, basically, this is all free from my old job. I used to work at All in the Gang as a graphic designer, and I would write knitting patterns and test knit and work in the production side of things sometimes. So that the Inca Tops yarn is from All in the Gang sample, and this is from All in the Gang sample, and this is very bulky mohair. It's not the same as the mohair that they sell, the Take Care mohair. It wasn't the same sample yarn. It's heavier than that. And I've got this small cone, which is quite a lot, but then I have this cone, all mohair. That's insane, right? What am I going to use this for? I obviously, like, at the time, they would literally, like, put a box out on the stairs at the office and be like, hey, everyone, here's some free yarn. And I obviously had a moment of panic and just grabbed a giant cone of mohair at the time. I don't know what I can make with this. Does anyone have any ideas? It's too thick to, like, use in a lot of the patterns that require, like, a mohair fingering wool mix. It's too thick to use with those, unless I did, like, a chunky. Because if I doubled this up with a fingering weight, it would be bulky, like, very bulky. This is 12 NM. And I think it's from the same supplier. I don't know. Yeah. A lot of it. And it's really dusty because it's sat under my desk for years and years and years. So very, very, very much appreciate recommendations to use this with. I think this on its own I could use as like an Aran weight, probably. In fact, I did use it for something. I'll show you. I used it along with some secondhand vintage mohair that I'd bought, which I don't even know if you can call it mohair. I've lost the ball for that, but I'll show you what I made with it in a second. So yeah, really would appreciate any tips for something I can make with this. I've seen some quite nice, like, super fluffy mittens and hat with like a brushed mohair. I just don't know if that's my vibe. Like, I don't know if that's my style. It looks really cool, but I don't know. I think I'd more likely wear like a full fluffy jumper in this and brush it as well. That would be really nice, wouldn't it? Excuse all the bits and dust and whatever, but it's super, super fluffy and super soft. I knitted it up in I'll show you, like, the back panel of just a draft vest that I was trying to use up some stash yarn, and it is unbelievably soft when it's knitted up. Let me grab that and show you, because you might be able to get a better idea of what the fabric would be like. I'm back. Yeah, this is it in a vest. And this vest I made, so I got this horrible yarn. It's really not nice at all. But I bought this in my label buying adventures. And I just wanted to use it up. So it's like it's like a yarn from the 80s probably, but it's synthetic mix mohair style. But it was very like I don't know what the technical term is, but like lumpy when you used it, which is why the stitches look so uneven. they're not uneven in real life. Like, oh, maybe they are uneven in real life, but it just looks very lumpy. And the color, you can't tell on screen, on video at all, but it's disgusting color. It looks like you've spilt coffee all over your cream jumper. But I only had enough to do this and a little bit at the back. And then the rest I did in this blue mohair, which is absolutely beautiful. Like, in comparison, when they're next to each other, this is like incredible. So this is just held single on I think a 5mm needle. Beautiful, beautiful drape. Just so soft and so lovely with like a really nice shine to it. So this is what it's like when it's worked up. And maybe I just recreate this in just this blue. That would be really nice. Because I do wear this sometimes, but it's just not as warm as I want it to be. Just this back panel is warm, which is nice, but this is just plasticky, so it's not super nice. But I do like that vest. And that's a good example of what I could do with that yarn. But open to ideas, please suggest things. There's an option to make another vest and maybe like a full jumper, or I think a cardigan would be really nice, like a mohair cardigan would be lovely. But I have so much that this could literally probably make like, I don't know, 8 vests or something like ridiculous. This and this. See? I don't know if you can get a sense of the scale. But anyway. So those are my, well, I have other cones as well, but those are my like imminent, please help me with ideas to use cones. And when I was picking up that, because I have all of my yarns color coded, I found the petite knit balaclava that I made, but I did it in a bulkier yarn than the pattern suggests, and so it's very snug on my head. I'll show you, despite the fact that my hair makes it look weird, but and this would probably be good for skiing, but the neck is way too short. I would be freezing. Like, this bit of my skin would be really cold. And this is in an acrylic yarn that I bought in my vintage yarn label buying as well. Second-hand acrylic yarn. So I'm not going to use this for skiing because it won't be warm enough. But it's nice, right? So I like the construction, like the balaclava that I want to make with the Bien Aimé yarn. Basically the same construction as this, but much longer neck, like maybe down to about here, and then I want it to be open here so I can I just want to be able to open it. I just think it's a cool design feature. And the maybe I would just, this is a tubular bind off. That's the bind off I was trying to remember before. Tubular Italian bind off. Maybe I just replicate that in the front. I don't know. But yeah. And that's that. So I think that's everything I want to talk about. Ooh, when I bought the Woolly Knits cone, I also bought one of their shade cards. It's very useful. I mean, I would recommend everyone doing this. If any suppliers offer shade cards, definitely buy one if you can't go and see their things in real life, because it just gives you such a good idea. I mean, on Woolly Knits, their stock levels are very weird. Like, they don't often have everything in stock, but you get such a good idea of what all of the colours are. Look at this. So nice. Here's our favourite lava orange, our favourite ready orange. But yeah, so many good colours. That's really interesting. I got the most boring colour. I think I'm probably just going to buy a second cone of this, or maybe just do some swatch tests with some other stuff that I've got in my stash. Okay, cool. And that's it. I think I'm going to plan a additional non-podcast video in between this one and the next one, where I do a little bit of a dive into my stash and ask you guys for recommendations on what to make with some of the more unusual things I've got in there, because I have so much yarn but hardly any sweater quantities. But I feel like some people will have some really good ideas on what different things could be used for. So I think I'm definitely going to do that soon. Okay, we're done.